Hello. Um, in this video, I don't think I'll put this in the big guide I'm making, like the Outbox Survival stuff, but I've wanted to make this video for a long time. I was just waiting for Season 2 to do it in case things changed and it made it not so true, but it seems to still be the case, alright? Ed is still a very confusing character. A lot of people don't know how they feel about him, his matchups, things like that. And I'm not here to give subjective opinions on the character. I'm here because this is one thing that I think, objectively, Ed is the best character in the game at doing, and that is managing his own drive meter, right? I think he's the best at doing it. I think he's very drive efficient when it comes to his own meter. And he is pretty good at damaging other characters' meter as well. Definitely not the best at it, but he's up there for sure. But when it comes to his own meter, I think he's the best character in the game at managing it. And I'm going to show why I think that and why I think this is one of his strengths. But I do need a preface. I'll say this a bit later on as well when I'm showing things off. This is not things that it seems good and it's really cool, but I don't think you should always be doing this stuff to manage your drive gauge. If you watch best Eds in the world, players like Momochi, Tachikawa, and then Walker, they're not doing this after every combo. They're honestly rarely doing this, but there's very good situations to do it, which is obviously dire straight situations where you're very low on meter or your opponent is drive meter, that is. So anyway, let's get into it. Alright, the first thing that I'm going to talk about is one of Ed's main B&B combos, alright? First of all, the fact that he has a 2-bar combo that is worth doing. That's very big when it comes to drive gauge management. If you watch a lot of pro play, they very rarely spend much, if any, meter on combos, especially when it costs 3 bar. Like you won't see them doing stuff like that too much, unless it's gonna kill. You know, they resource dump when they're going to kill, but very often you'll see that they just go for a lot of meterless stuff. Anyway, so yeah, a 2-bar combo, a lot more enticing than a 3-bar combo. But that's not it. I want you to pay very close attention to Ed's drive gauge when I do his 2-bar combo, like during the combo, right? You see that? You see how he almost gets half a bar back during the combo, and while it ends, he's already regenerating? So really, the combo costs like 1.5 bars, alright? Which is amazing. There are other moves that work like this, other combos for other characters and stuff, but you get the idea. And whereas if you spend, like I said, if you do a 3-bar combo, look at the drive. It doesn't start regenerating until they're basically standing up, and it costs 3 bars, right? So, yeah, that's a bit more damage. But Ed also obviously has 3 bars as well, but I'll get there. Let's finish talking about this combo, right? So, this costs 2 bars. It generates back half a bar mid-combo, already regenerating. There's more, right? The other thing is, this combo also gives a plus 41 safe jump, which some light DPs, it's matchup specific, can beat on reaction, but I'm not going to go into that. Most characters, you can do this, right? Let me just set Jamie. Okay, that should be alright. I want you to watch my drive as I do this sequence. See that? I have a mid-screen safe jump from this combo that gives me a guaranteed block string that also builds me back a bar. So by the time I've done this sequence that they essentially have to hold, because the reversal's not going to work, I have pretty much got back all the drive that I spent on the combo. I've gotten back 1.5 bars from the 2 bar spends. But really want to preface, I'm not telling you to do this all the time or even often, right? It seems very good and very enticing to always do this, so you always have heaps of drive. But you're giving up your mix-up potential by doing this. And you will see pros don't often do this, right? They'll do this and then take the plus frames and the mix-up, right? I think that's a lot more important, and it's important to know that. But if you're hit a combo like this and you're running low on drive, you should do this. And another thing, let me just fix my settings up a little bit. Where's my bars? This should help. Another thing, when I do this whole setup, watch Jamie's drive gauge, right? Not only do I gain back a bar, he loses a bar. So it's like a 2 bar differential. You see what I mean? So if you have them close to burnout, or if you're close to burnout yourself, this is a really great option to get your meter back or burn Nezs essentially for free. What can Jamie do in this situation other than the light DP? That I'm not gonna get into that. He has a couple of options, but they're all not scary for Ed, right? Let's say he wake up parries it, right? He will keep, even if he parries the whole thing, he will keep his drive and build drive back, but you will still, yourself, as you can see, you still build back the same amount of drive you would have if he blocked. So in that sense, it's still good for you if you're trying to build back meter. And there's no risk. What if he perfect parries the safe jump? It's -3, so he cannot punish you. You're in a bit of a strike throw mix up to an extent. But yeah, that's the absolute worst thing that can happen from doing this if they don't have a light DP that can deal with it, right? That's the worst thing that can happen, is that they perfect parry it, in which case they get out of the situation, but they don't open you up, right? But going back to what I was saying before, even 3 bar combos, even if you want to spend 3 bars as Ed, you know, most characters will do something like this. You know, most characters will do something like this. Ed gets this. Right? And the cool thing about this is even as a 3 bar, as you can see if you watch the drive gauge, look, he gets a tiny bit back. He gets a little bit back, so it's cost a little bit less than 3. Right? So even in that sense, very meter efficient. Okay, now we're going to talk about corner situations. The combo stuff is the same. The combos I do to get the safe jumps aren't too important to what I'm talking about. But just know that the combos I'm doing now, they're going to be plus 42 safe jump combos, right? So in the corner, you get even more kind of chance to recover your drive gauge on block, as well as damage theirs, thanks to this button primarily. Compared to other characters anyway, right? A lot of characters have safe jumps, but you'll see what I'm talking about, alright? So just watch the drive gauge. Both drive gauges really when I do this combo, or when I do this setup. Alright, you see that? I've essentially built back 1 drive gauge, and they've lost almost 2 drive gauge themselves, and they're forced to block that entire sequence that Jamie blocked there, right? Because when you jump in, the safe jump, If they block it or parry it, this is guaranteed to continue to block string, and it's +3. So then this is also guaranteed. And you might think, well, +3, this is 7 frames. You know, it's not like they can obviously. Well, first of all, they can obviously reverse all between the stand heavy kick and the medium punch, but that'll cost even more meter for them, right? They're already blocking 2 heavies. They're already blocking this and this, which is going to take off at least a bar. And then, you know, it's going to be like a 3-bar reversal for them, right? But what if they press jab in that situation, right? I'll show you what happens. Oops, wrong combo. Hold up. Alright. Their 4-frame will trade with your standing medium punch, but you will be pretty much every character you fight, you will be advantaged enough to combo with this button, as an example. Maybe even more, it'll depend. But yeah, that's what happens if they do there. So other than what I showed mid-screen, what options do they have to deal with this? And there is one extra thing they could do, which is pretty specific. People do it by accident sometimes, but they could do it deliberately if they know enough about what's happening, right? And the answer is, if they immediately wake up crouch jab, I'll show you what happens. See, as you can see, Jamie got hit by my safe jump, but because he woke up with a crouching light, he was put into crouching stance and this whiffed, right? And, you know, that's the way out of this situation. But obviously, if you think that's a thing that can happen, you can obviously just safe jump into a normal button, right? You don't have to do this 3-button string. You can just do something like that, right? Like you don't, while this 3-button string, if you think they're gonna block, it's amazing, right? But if you don't think they're gonna block, I would just go for something like this, right? But yeah, that's how this kind of works in the corner, and like how much meter advantage Ed can get. Let me turn this off. I mean, when you look at it really, let's have a look one more time. Ed does 1.5 drive damage to the opponent, and he gains a bar back. So that's 2.5 bar kind of differential, right? These are, you know, things that are somewhat unique to Ed, because as I said, the 2 heavies into a medium, no one really gets that. And Ed has so many safe jumps that are also his optimal damage. Like, both those combos I did there are usually pretty optimal. So these are like big ways that Ed is really like a master of recovering drive gauge and like managing his own drive gauge. The next thing to talk about is level 2, which is also a big difference maker, right? And the first thing is, I mean, when I'm just going to do a standard level 2 combo and watch the drive. My drive meter, that is. As you can see, I spent 2 bars to get the OD Blitz, start that combo, and by the time it was finished, I'd already got those 2 bars back. Alright. The next is the more advanced level 2 combos, which you'll see Momochi kind of pioneering and using. I I've deliberately set up a situation where I have low drive, as you can see, just so you'll be able to see just how much drive gauge these combos build back. And yeah, I'll try hit one. Maybe I'll have to cut a little bit. Let's see. Alright, no cuts needed. But as you see, if you were watching the drive gauge there, and I recommend going back and looking at it if you weren't, I built essentially 4 bars back from that combo. Obviously, I got a full screen corner carry and really good damage too, but we're not here to talk about that. These combos were unchanged in the patch, thankfully. A lot of characters got level 2 kind of meter nerfs, but Ed was not one of them. So as you can see, this is another area where Ed just has amazing drive gauge management when it comes to his own drive gauge. And finally for level 2, this I would say it's only semi-related because it's more about doing drive damage than maintaining Ed's drive gauge, but I thought it would be cool to put this in because it's an interesting little thing. Here's a situation where Ed has a really good kind of advantage in dealing real drive damage to JP, right? A very common situation here. I'm going to throw JP. He's essentially just knocked down in the corner and he's going to wake up Amnesia. And this is one of many options, which I won't go into those other options in this video, but this is one of many options Ed has to deal with Amnesia that I think is pretty cool. Alright, as you can see, ignore that last Amnesia, but the level 2 eats the orbs because it has super priority, and on top of that I get a DI, so JP spends 2 bars to OD Amnesia, and he gets hit with another 2 bars thanks to my combo, which has a DI in it. So he loses 4 bars to this, and I get the DI combo, which is really awesome. This can easily burn a JP out, you know, because having less than 4 bars was pretty common in this game. But doing this into level 2, I can't hit confirm that really. I mean, you can, but you can. But I want to throw it out anyway because otherwise I have to deal with Amnesia, right? But is that really worth it on block? I'll show you something. You see that? The orbs, my level 2 still killed the orbs, and I'm able to get a forward heavy punch and a standing heavy punch, which still, even though I'm not hitting him, he loses 4 drive gauge still, 2 for his OD Amnesia and 2 for blocking the normals in the level 2. And I'm safe. I'm -2, you know. And you can even add this on to do a tiny bit extra, but it can kind of be punished. Right? And what else? I mean, what other options does he have there? I mean, he can obviously OD Amnesia into level 1, but that's a read. And he can drive reversal the blocks level 2 and the normals, but he still loses 4 or probably even more drive for doing that. So, no matter what, I mean, JP has to make a hard level 1 read, or he has to lose 4 bars, no matter what happens. Okay. That about wraps it up. Follow me on Twitter if you ever want to see any more Ed stuff. I try my best to post anything cool I find. And I mean, this will be like the 20th time I've warned against this, but as cool as this stuff is, take the wake up, take the pressure and the mix up over the kind of drive gauge advantages you can get most of the time. Okay, it's more important. The only time you do the drive stuff is when you really need drive back, right? Which is pretty often in this game, to be fair. or when you need to do kind of guaranteed drive chip. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video.